Hi folks. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. Rather than making fun of flat earthers this week, I'm going to show you how to disassemble, clean, uh, uh, put back together, and function check an AR-15. The model I have here is an M4 version, which means the carbine. So it's shorter than your standard AR-15. So first things first, we want to make sure that our weapon is on safe, and we're going to drop out our magazine. The mag well is empty, so then we're going to empty our chamber, which just entails locking the slide back to the rear. So then I can show you an empty chamber and an empty magazine well. So we send our slide home, close up our dust cover, make sure we secure our ammo. Alright, step one is you've got a pin right here. It's called your rear takedown pin. So you press that and you can make it indent just a little. When you come around to the other side, you can usually do this with your fingernail. If not, when you have a pocket knife, works just fine. You can just pull that all the way out. And then you go forward. You got your forward takedown pin. So you do the same thing. Press it a little, go around the other side, pull it out, make sure you're hanging on to both halves of your rifle so you don't drop it. Then it comes apart. So here's your lower assembly, here's your upper assembly. So the lower assembly is the easiest to field strip because there's not much going on there. You just got your buffer. So press down this little spring-loaded pin here, and then your buffer and buffer spring come out. So the function of your buffer is spring-loaded here in your stock. When you fire the rifle, your bolt receiver group comes back and it goes into the butt of your gun and it compresses this spring, and then after the firing sequence, the spring sends the bolt carrier group back home and prepares the rifle for the next. Okay, now that we're finished stripping our lower, let's look at our upper. This is pretty easy. On your charging handle here, you got a little button. You squeeze that, pull down, your entire bolt carrier group and your charging handle come out. This is your charging handle here. Done with that. Here's your bolt carrier assembly. So it holds your bolt and your firing pin. You can see the firing pin in there, maybe. Alright, first thing we have to do is remove the firing pin. There's a little cotter pin here that has to come out. Sometimes you can get it with your fingernail. Sometimes you might need something pointy, a pocket knife or something. I think I can get mine with my fingernail. Alright, screw it, pocket knife time. Your little cotter pin, put that somewhere safe. It's small, it's easy to lose. Alright, second, you drop your firing pin on the floor. So there's a retaining pin here for your bolt. Just turn that sideways. It comes out fairly easy. It's that job there. And then there's your bolt. If you're a female and your boyfriend doesn't know what one of these is, then you have a girlfriend. Find my firing pin. That's what your firing pin looks like. Alright, so we're pretty well stripped down. You got your empty well there. What you want to do is get up in there real good and clean out all the carbon and sand and dirt, anything else maybe in there. I like to use something like this, or just any sort of cloth that doesn't make a whole lot of dust you can use. Then you want to coat it down with a Nice thin layer of CLP. You don't want to use too much because it attracts dirt and sand, um, and too much of it just will grit your gun up. If you're in a desert environment where you got a lot of sand, a good alternative is graphite. Same with your lower here. Clean all up in there real good. And again with the thin coat of CLP. Same goes for your bolt and your bolt carrier group and all these parts here. This can be stripped down a little bit more. I only do it about once every 1,000 rounds or so because a lot of small parts in there, things is easy to lose, and it's really not necessary to clean that and strip that down each time. So before we put it back together, let's look at a couple things. I have a few different stocks. They're pretty easy to change out, and there's advantages, disadvantages to each of them. If you're going to do that or any other kind of work on the weapon, you might want to get one of these. That's AR-15 Armor's Tool. You can get it for about 20 bucks at a gun show or probably some gun shops. This stock here is aftermarket stock. If you want to add any kind of accessories like my flashlight here and my my handle, this is a really cool handle because it retracts into just a regular forward grip, and then you can make it a tripod as well. And then my flashlight has a little pressure button here where I can just squeeze, turn it on. Pretty cool accessory. I've got tons more, but I took a bunch of them off just so the gun didn't look too busy. If you want to change out your stock, there's a retaining ring right here. You just pull back on that and it pops off. It's really tough to do with your hands. I couldn't do it with my hands, but they make a tool that makes it really easy to do that you can get at a gun shop. Okay, so let's start reassembling. So it's real easy. Our buffer and a buffer spring just goes right back into your stock. Just push it down till you hear it click, and you can see your spring-loaded pin there holding everything in place. Now, our bolt goes back into the bolt carrier, just like that. I'm going to line up the hole with the other one. Next, we put our retaining pin in there. Make sure that you got it turned sideways so that it'll fit to go in. You got to line it up. It can take a bit to get everything lined up correctly and get that in there. There we go. Spin it back sideways and pull it outward. Then you drop your firing pin in. Replace your cotter pin. Sometimes if your rifle is like mine, when I first bought this, I had to take a Dremel tool and sort of bevel the ends of that cotter pin because sometimes it doesn't want to go back in. Alright, now we flip our upper upside down. Take our charging handle, and it fits nicely into a little groove down there. Take your bolt, sort of get it in there, and everything clicks back together. These two go back the reverse of the way that you took them apart. Take your forward takedown pin, push it in, then you push it in your rear takedown pin. Now, we got our gun back together, but there's not 100. We can't be 100% sure we did everything right. Put everything back. You didn't forget a step or something. So what we do is a function check. The function check is very simple, but it's very important also. The first thing we do is make sure our weapon is on safe and point it in a safe direction, and slowly squeeze the trigger. Nothing should happen, so we're good there. So next we flip over to fire. Again, slowly squeeze the trigger. You hear a nice click. So hold the trigger to the rear and rack your rifle. Alright, now we're going to slowly release the trigger and listen for a trigger reset click. And there it is. Alright, so we've got a functioning rifle. So we go back on safe, close our dust cover. So that's how you field strip, clean, and reassemble your AR-15 style weapon. Next week I'll be back to making more flat earth content. I do have an announcement to make. I'm going to be starting a second channel with MA2 Fletcher Eisler. He's a fellow veteran, very knowledgeable guy. We're going to be talking about all things guns, different types, reviewing guns, showing things about how to field strip them, accessories, scopes, different types of ammo, anything you can think about with guns. We'll plan on be talking about that probably once a week. Let's hear from MA2.
Thank you, SC. That was great. Hey guys, Fletch here. SC and I are starting an awesome new channel called Guns and Stuff 556. Now, what you just saw Schrodinger's cat do with the M4 is just a snapshot of what we'll be featuring on the channel. We'll be doing demonstrations, some history, some interviews, maybe sprinkle in some science, and have a lot of fun, all while showing respect where respect is due. I hope you guys come check us out. And if you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe. Now, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Schrodinger's Cat's channel if you haven't already. He's got some great stuff. Thanks for your time, and see you guys over at Guns and Stuff 556. Back to you, SC.
Thanks, Fletch, and thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye, folks.